Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for another episode of the Heel Cast. We got a good one tonight. Joining me, the return of Goldberg. Goldberg, what's happening?
What's up, man? Glad to be back.
It's good to have you back. And we have a first ever time on the Heel Cast.
And new.
New. He comes from the Amazing Race podcast. Calbert, what's up?
What's going on, everybody? How you doing?
So, Calbert, one thing you got to know about the Heel Cast, dirty jokes are very much in play at all times.
Sounds good.
Feel free to swear, and feel free to say whatever the hell's on your mind.
So it's pretty much like the Amazing Race one. Okay, cool.
All right. So, you know what? We don't really have any plugs because I'm not giving any plugs. But what I do want to give a plug is, if you like the show, The Amazing Race, check out the Amazing Race review under the page Matt Hurley. Might change that in the future, but go check it out. We do The Amazing Race. I'll put a link in the description if you are interested in that review. But anyways, we got a lot of news to talk about. Royal Rumble's coming up. So let's get to the news right away. So there was a report about a Forbidden Door entrant into the Royal Rumble. We got news that Mickie James was going to be in the Royal Rumble. She will be bringing out the Knockouts title and coming out to Hardcore Country. So that in itself kind of gives a little credence to this report. Goldberg, what do you think, and who would you want to hit the Rumble potentially as a Forbidden Door? I'm not sure it's going to happen, but who would you want to see?
Now, there's going to be a men's and women's Rumble this year, obviously. So
yes.
I guess the Forbidden Door is kind of pertaining to the men's.
I'm thinking so. Correct.
I mean, if we're looking, I don't think we're going to see anyone from AEW.
That was already shot down.
Yep. So if we're looking at either Impact or Free Agent.
Or New Japan.
New Japan, don't give a shit. If we're looking at somebody from Impact or a Free Agent, I would imagine it's got to be somebody that's going to be known to the crowd, somebody who's going to get some kind of reaction.
But it's not really Forbidden Door if it's a free agent, though, correct?
That's true. But I mean, maybe somebody that was just, well, okay, I don't mean free agent, but I mean maybe someone from NWA. It could be.
They got like two guys on the roster, but yeah.
I mean, but it could be Nick Aldis is kind of what I'm leaning towards because he's at least something.
And he's married to Mickie James, yes.
Exactly my thought. He is married to Mickie James. So maybe they bring Nick Aldis in. And maybe that's the reason Mickie agreed to do this. She wants her husband to get in there, even if he gets tossed out immediately. So maybe that's one option. And the other option I would give would probably be somebody from Impact. And I guess where else do you go other than Moose, the champ?
Yes.
So maybe Moose. But if I had it my way, I'd go Shark Boy.
Only as the Stone Cold character, right? Stone Cold Shark Boy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I had it my way, sure. But all kidding aside, I would say my two best educated guesses would be Nick Aldis and Moose.
Yeah. If there was anybody, correct. Calvert, what are your thoughts about the Forbidden Door, possibly a Forbidden Door entrant into the Rumble, and B, who do you think it would be?
So my guess would be, because it's the Royal Rumble, they generally like to do legends.
Mm-hmm.
And legends don't tend to necessarily last very long. I don't know anything. I haven't read anything. And it's probably not going to happen. But they generally like to have big pops, right? Usually at this portion.
Well, yeah, just to give credence to what you're saying, I mean, we've had Diesel, Booker T, Roddy Piper, throughout the years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, my first original guess was The Rock, because even though, yes, he's banged up, he said originally that I'm never going to leave again, right? I'm back for good. Now, granted, I know health-wise, I don't know if you can pull it off, but to pull off a big pop, we've had Edge in the past, right? That was a huge pop. Nobody thought it. I didn't think Edge would come back ever again. We've had John Cena, right? So my guess would be The Rock. It's going to be wrong, but that's I mean, they need something big because the ratings aren't great for WWE. That's a hell of a way to bring it back, and he doesn't have to go that long, right? One rock bottom, one people's elbow, get tossed over by Brock Lesnar, right? Or AJ Styles, right? So that's my guess. Moose is also probably good. That's actually a more realistic guess.
Mm-hmm.
But just for a legend standpoint, I'll go Rock.
Sure, I would love to see The Rock back in the Rumble. I think that'd be a lot of fun. He'd probably be one of the legends that would actually stay in there for a while too.
Sure.
If he did come back. Yeah, Moose on the social media has he's made he alluded to the possibility. He has been tagging Roman Reigns in some of his tweets. So it would be really cool to see Moose in there. But you never know. I mean, it'd be really cool if they did this Forbidden Door type thing. But we know it's not going to be anybody from AEW. We know that. There's been some stuff between Impact and WWE in the last few years about using footage, and WWE's let Impact use some footage for Ken Shamrock. Impact's let WWE use some footage for the Hardys and AJ Styles. So it's definitely potential. They definitely have.
Do you think
friendly...
it could be Ken Shamrock?
Oh, that would be freaking awesome. That guy deserves.
That would work.
That guy deserves a Rumble pop.
That would work. Sure.
Yes.
So I'm actually, based on what Calvert just said, I'm going to change my answer there. If that's acceptable, because Calvert kind of just gave me the way he brought, a legend. It could be a legend. It kind of put something in my head that I think could be, because WWE has kind of been laying the groundwork for this, and this would be a massive fucking pop, and I would definitely tune in if this happened, and I would tune in the next night too. The champion on NXT, a guy we're all high on, Pearls.
Yes.
High on.
Yes.
Calvert, are you aware of the champion of NXT?
I'm not.
So it's Rick Steiner's son, Scott Steiner's nephew.
Okay.
And his name is Braunbreaker. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Okay, so he's the champ right now. I'm gonna say he could, obviously he could be an entrant in the Royal Rumble. I'm gonna say that he is an entrant in the Royal Rumble, and that Scott Steiner is going to be an entrant as well in the Royal Rumble.
That would work.
That would be the wildest thing, because we know he hates Triple H, but they've been laying the groundwork. Pearls, have you seen a little? They've been hinting. They got the math thing, the equation going on. They could. You never know.
Yes.
Maybe this is it. Maybe the two of them enter, or maybe it's Rick Steiner and not Scott Steiner, because Rick came in and celebrated in the ring with his son when he won the title. So maybe one of them enters with Braun, and that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would definitely mark out for Scott or Rick, either one.
Sure.
Scott Moore, but yeah.
Yeah, Scott Moore, but Rick was good too, though, in his own right. I mean,
sure.
Rick.
They're arguably some of the best tag. In some people's lists, they're the top tag team.
Oh,
that would be my list.
Definitely, they can be won easily. Whoever you want to put.
I could see Rick going over the top rope in a Rumble. Don't know if I could see Scott doing it. But.
Yeah, that's tough. It is. It really would depend on what kind of shape he's in. But didn't Scott just have a match against Jerry Lawler not that long ago?
I don't know.
In Memphis, I thought I heard that.
It would also behoove WWE to have Braun be in it. What are the likelihood that he's in it? Probably more than 50%, right? I mean, he's the champ of NXT.
Yeah, I think that would give him some good
The likelihood
credibility.
that he's in it is high, and if they were smart, they'd have this fucking guy win it, and you just built a fucking superstar.
Yep, and we know how it is with people that with the fans of NXT when they ask for somebody to be brought up, they're brought up fairly quickly.
Exactly.
I'll give Triple H credit for that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Braunbreaker is going to be a guy that they're going to shoot to the top. They are very high on him, as they should be. The guy's got all the skills. His mic skills are pretty good too. I mean, you're a Steiner. You're unintentionally good, like sure. Scott. You know,
right?
Yeah.
You give one of the greatest promos of all time. Yeah, I would. You know what? How about throw all 5 guys? Throw Shamrock, throw both Steiners, throw Braun and Moose. Why not?
Sure.
Why not?
They would generally go probably in the teens. That totally makes sense. You know,
shoot.
As far as an entrant goes,
put the Rumble back to 40. They did it 1 year. You can get more people in there.
But we're not supposed to remember that though, because whatever we see is current.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. We aren't supposed to remember that. And that was the year that wasn't that the year that CM Punk kept eliminating the
Yes.
What was that faction called? Oh boy, they were like, weren't they like NXT? Weren't they called NXT?
They were. Yeah, they had little bands on their
Yeah. Yep. Okay, and that was the 1 year they had 40. I think that was the year Alberto Del Rio won too. What if Alberto Del Rio gets one more try?
I actually picked him that year that he won it.
You did? Seriously?
I did. I think I was like 15, but yeah.
Wow.
Wasn't on a podcast. In my bedroom.
But yeah, no, I would pop. I mean, they're gonna have surprises. They're definitely gonna have a surprise or two. I would love to see. I think if it's truly a Forbidden Door, it would have to be from either Impact or New Japan, because I think those are the two most likely. It's going to be either, if it's between those two companies, it's got to be Moose. I mean, he's 6'5". He'd go perfect. You know what I mean? He'd look perfect against a lot of the other guys that would be in there. Or Okada. I think Okada could be another guy, the Rainmaker guy. He's kind of the one big, him and Tanahashi are like the two big guys in Japan. Yeah, not for me and you, but
Plus it's the 35th Royal Rumble, and we know how Vince likes those numbers. He likes round numbers. He likes numbers that people can add simply. So 35th, that's generally in Vince's mind, that's generally big. It's going to be in St.
35. Wow.
It's going to be in St. Louis. So.
Oh wow, a lot of history there.
Yeah, I mean, that's he's going to want to do something big. He always wants to do something big, obviously.
Well, yeah, they need to. I think they would get a lot of goodwill by having like a Forbidden Door entrant or a legends you would have never thought of. Sure. Either one. I think they'd get some goodwill there.
I originally thought had Becky Lynch not come back, that would have been my guess for woman, but we'll see. That's what makes the Rumble fun. Like, this is what leads everybody to want to watch WrestleMania for 4 hours 6 hours. 6 hours,
yes.
And then complain after it.
Yeah. So I think that would be a good idea. We'll see if they do it, but the fact that they're going to be putting Mickie James in the Rumble, I think that does say something. Like, maybe they're willing to kind of break some barriers there. So
right.
All right. Let's go to the next story we have here. Cody Rhodes is apparently working AEW without a contract. I'm going to pose 2 questions. This is going to be kind of like a round the horn type thing. Big deal, no deal, or something. Something's there. Goldberg.
Not a big deal. He ain't going anywhere.
Okay.
And even if he was, I mean, WWE's not. They would never take him back after all the shit he pulled, and making fun of Triple H and all that. There's no way.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Calvert.
It's no deal. Like, he's still promoting AEW as far as TNT went, right? Like, he had the match with Shaq. So like,
Yep.
he doesn't have a contract. That can be fixed. That's like being a free agent for like a day.
Yeah.
Call him
That's
up.
true.
They work out some numbers. He signs the sheet. It's all done. Like it's no deal.
Well, he also had his own reality show with Brandy.
Right.
So
Right.
I just to give up a game show, I think it's Go Big Show it's called, I think.
Correct.
And then he's got the reality show with Brandy. So
Yep.
yeah, I just don't see that. But however, there is something there, I think, with him and the Elite, how they're not really good friends anymore. There was a falling out. So I don't know the whole story on that, but I agree. I just don't see it. I really don't see him going back, especially with the sledgehammer to the throne. Yeah, that was a clear shot. So, yeah, I don't think it's happening.
But we've seen that too with Nitro, right? For example, like, oh, hey, we're gonna tell you who wins the championship, so you don't watch, right?
Yes.
And then everybody swithed over, right? So like, I mean, for as shitty as WWE, and WWE has been shitty for years, they still have merchandise. They still sell out events. I don't know how they do that, but they do it. And they're still relatively the top dog, even though, yeah, AEW's put themselves on the map, right? So you're going to take a swing at the top dog. That's fine.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right, but I just think, yes, they've taken guys back like Bret Hart, and I mean, we've seen them, mend fences. It doesn't really matter if you can provide some money. It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah,
bring you back.
And it's not. I mean, just because you're Dusty Rhodes' kid doesn't mean you're a Hall of Famer. Like,
right.
Let's not forget it's what you do in the ring that matters too. It's like being a Hall of Famer in football. Like, what did you do on the field? I don't give a shit what you did off the field. What did you do on the field? Do the numbers match? If they match, cool. If they don't, try again next year.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of second and third generation wrestlers that haven't panned out. I mean, right. You're exactly right. All right. And let's go to the next story. Gosh, I had it. Oh yes, Don West. Some sad news that Don West, former TNA announcer, it was revealed that his cancer has come back. So hopefully, he can beat it once again. But that really sucks. He literally just was cleared from it, and then 2 months later, it's found out, or 4 months later, whenever it was, is back. Goldberg, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty sad. I'm a big fan of Don West. I always was from the beginning days of TNA, and it just sucks that he beat it and now it's back again. But I guess that's pretty common when it comes to cancer, so it's unfortunate. And I mean, I don't know the situation, but I hope he has a shot to beat it again. But I don't know.
Yeah, agreed. Calvert, anything you want to add to that?
Cancer's a bitch. I mean, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. Like, usually if a person beats it once, it comes back with a vengeance the second time. But yeah, I also like Don West as a color guy for Impact. He was a good guy. He's a good guy. So hopefully he can beat it.
Yeah, he was always one of those guys that would no matter what kind of show was happening, he would sell it like $1 million. So,
right.
And he was also on the Home Shopping Network, I think, at one point in his career. He used to sell baseball cards and stuff like that. So the guy knows how to sell. I mean, there's just no question about it. So, hopefully, Don, you can beat cancer and live a cancer-free life. So, all right. Next we're gonna review Hard to Kill. Then we're gonna go over some Royal Rumble predictions that are coming up here. But first, Goldberg, this is kind of your segment, and we have to talk about AEW because I actually watched Dynamite last week, and it was one of the most nonsensical bookings I've ever seen. But Goldberg, any takeaways from AEW Dynamite last week?
My God, where do we begin? What was? Let me just think back. I mean, just this past week. What did we have? I gotta go look at the results here.
Can I just tell you my first complaint? You already know what it is, and Jim Cornette touched on it today.
Oh, go ahead. Actually, yeah, this is your baby for this week because, yeah, that was ridiculous, and Cornette nailed it. So go ahead.
I told you I don't think Adam Page is a world champion. I never thought. I don't know what the appeal is to the guy. Sure he's a hard worker, but to me he comes off like a mid-carder. And when I saw him on AEW Dynamite this past last Wednesday, and he comes out with a Smokey the Bear T-shirt, some 1970s cowboy vest with tassels on it, the guy looked like a bum. I'm sorry. He looked like a bum. Didn't look like a world champion. I was just not impressed at all. His next feud is with Dan Lambert. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't want to just hate on something, but man, that was awful. The guy just, to me, screams like a low rent champion, and I hope his title run is over before we even know it. So just going from that segment, yeah, that's all I got. You want to add anything to that at least?
Yeah, I mean, his outfit was ridiculous. He doesn't look like a champion. I was completely wrong about him because I thought he could be a decent champion. He was outclassed on the mic by Dan Lambert. He's just doesn't have it. Whatever it is, he doesn't have it. So I'm not impressed by him in the least bit. I think they've set him up for failure in this title run, and I mean there was other stupid things that happened on the show, like for instance, this guy that debuted. Who? Do you have any idea who he was?
Who guy debuted?
Brody King.
Oh, okay, Brody King. Okay, no, I never watched Ring of Honor for the most part. I watched maybe a little bit back, like 5-6 years ago. I really don't know who Brody King is. But that's the sad part though, because that's like one of my better things about Dynamite is I actually like Malachi Black, Calvert Alistair Black, if that rings a bell.
Yep.
But I did like him. I do like him, but Brody King, man, I don't know who this guy is. So great. We have another tag team. How many tag teams are in AEW? 12? 13?
Yep.
So they don't even know what to do. That's the problem. There's no storylines.
Right.
So I don't know. And what was it? Dante Martin versus Powerhouse Hobbs?
God.
Yeah. But I got something even better. I totally forgot. This was one of the worst things I've seen. Wardlow versus CM Punk.
Oh yeah, we need to talk.
We got to talk about this. This was absolutely dog shit. Wardlow powerbombed CM Punk 7 times in the ring, then proceeds to go outside the ring, power bombs him through the table, comes back in the ring with CM Punk. All of a sudden, MJF starts talking smack to Wardlow. Apparently, they got some dissension going on. All of a sudden, CM Punk gets the will of John Cena and gets a 1, 2, 3. That might have been the worst booking I've ever seen. You take 7 power bombs and 1 through the table. That should put you on a stretcher. That was the ultimate no-sell I've ever seen in pro wrestling. Let's call it what it is. That was terrible booking. Whoever booked that or thought that was a good idea. And what the hell is up with CM Punk, like being undefeated? This guy is like the size of Kyler Murray. I mean, who gave this guy Hulk Hogan type powers? Guy's been overrated ever since he's been in the business. I'm sorry, I've never been a CM Punk fan, never will be. And the guy's just a complete ass. But for some reason, this guy is undefeated, beating everybody, beating a guy like Wardlow, who looks like $1 million. And a guy they're just, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but this did not make Wardlow look good. Loses to a freaking roll up after giving 7 power bombs and 1 through a table. Like, give me a freaking break. All right, I'm done.
Sure.
Goldberg.
Okay.
No, it's a joke. I mean, that match alone was a joke. I mean, I think we were texting in the group chat when it was going on, and I was utterly shocked that they were even booking it the way they were booking it while the match was going on. And I couldn't believe that Wardlow was dominating the match, and thought it was tremendous. And then I said, before it even happened, I think I texted in the group chat, they'll blow this. And they blew it. He came back in the ring, rolls up Wardlow, and it was just so predictable and so stupid. And it's terrible.
Yeah. Calvert, I don't know how much you pay attention or whatnot, but just from what I'm telling you,
It's name recognition. Like, this isn't hard. I told people who begged and pleaded for years to bring CM Punk back, and they brought him back, and they brought him back in his hometown of Chicago. Let's go all the way back to when he got reintroduced. They brought him back to Chicago. So of course they're gonna lose their shit because he's back in Chicago, and of course they're gonna lose their shit because he's gonna wrestle again. Because he sucked in the octagon. He was terrible there. Awful. I'm not even going to tell you how many matches he had because it doesn't matter because he was terrible at that. So, of course, he's going to go undefeated because he's CM Punk and it's name recognition. It's just like why Roman Reigns is still dominant in the WWE. It's not hard. Oh, look, there's a number that Roman Reigns can reach. Oh, we'll make sure Roman Reigns reaches that. Okay, Vince, sounds good.
But here's the difference.
Go ahead.
Roman Reigns is 6'5".
Yes.
290 pounds.
Yeah.
CM Punk is the size of a cruiserweight.
Yes.
And he's undefeated right now. Not only that, his first 2 months in AEW was, I'm just happy to be here promos.
Yeah.
I can't wait to wrestle you. Like, can you imagine Scott Hall coming from WWF to WCW just saying, I'm happy to be here? Like, no, there was a storyline put in place that he was invading a company and taking out guys left and right. And that's what sells tickets, not, oh, I can't wait to wrestle you, Darby. We're going to have a 5-star match. Like, nobody cares about that besides the overweight neckbeard in the front row. Like,
exactly.
Who cares?
Nobody cares.
No. They just terrible. And I don't know if CM Punk's like really hard to deal with. I'm sure he is.
Of course
this is terrible. If this is his vision of wrestling, yeah, he
wanted ice cream bars. He sat in the middle of the row of an entrance and wanted ice cream bars and went 40 minutes talking about ice cream bars. This is who he is. While he has the guy up, he'll go, Blackhawks in 6.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what he does. How long is it going to be till he's the champion? How long?
Oof. It's got to be
long.
Quick, right? Yeah, I would think
right?
so.
Probably
pretty soon.
I'm gonna venture a guess. He's probably going to be champion by summer. I don't know anything. That's my guess. Because it's name recognition, and then because the people asked for this, then they're going to be pissed because he's going to be champion for 100 days, 200 days. He's not going to lose, right? Because he's still undefeated.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is where wrestling is stupid. Like, it's the best male soap opera in the world. But damn, is it dumb?
But it's losing it's losing the soap opera part, sadly.
Yes, true.
People are watching because of the soap opera. They're not watching from 90-minute matches that end in draws, which AEW has Okay, not 90, but they've done 2 60-minute draws in the last 6 months.
Doesn't surprise me.
Thinking that is good TV, like once in a while after a really good heated rivalry and storyline, yes. Not just this random tournament. Winner gets a title shot and we're going to do a 60-minute match. Like, no. Goldberg, I know you got some stuff. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not like the guys I'm high on in AEW clearly are never going to be pushed. They just made a fool out of Wardlow. Hobbs is a fucking big ass beast. He's been made a fool of. He stinks. Archer just made his return against Hangman Page. He's going to lose. We know for a fact. Hangman Page is going to beat him in his Smokey the Bear shirt. He'll beat him. And they don't know how to book. They don't know how to push the right guys. They don't know how to book. They're going to keep pushing these fucking fools, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, Hangman Page, who's their champion now, CM Punk. They're going to keep pushing these guys that the three of us could probably beat up in real life. That includes CM Punk, who lost to Mickey Gall, who's a nobody. So it's just, I don't know. They'll never get on the right track. And this is a company who I wanted them to be successful. I wanted them to differentiate from WWE and give us something else to watch. And they didn't do it. They never will. They don't know how to book. It's terrible. And it's just terrible.
Yeah, I'm flabbergasted. They don't have a writer. They never hired a writer. Tony Khan does all the booking. A guy who's never been involved in the wrestling business in his life thinks he's going to come out there and just set the world on fire. Well, you got a deep pocket. I won't deny that, but you also have to have a purpose. He hasn't even had a purpose. Never. Nothing. Like, I thought Inner Circle, I didn't even think the Inner Circle, which was their big stable right when they started, I didn't even think that really meshed too well. I don't, like, nobody believes that Santana's hanging out with Chris Jericho. Like, really? Just nothing's believable. So that's my issue with it. Yeah. And then we also had some random tag match with two guys who were like 300 pounds apiece, and they end up losing to who's that other the Acclaimed, right? At least those guys have some size, but my goodness, they just dude, there's no purpose in AEW. Lance Archer just comes back out of, now he's aligned with Dan Lambert. Like, how did that?
Yeah, he was with Jake the Snake. There's nothing they do makes any sense. Nothing.
Yeah, like, just start and stop. Like,
they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I told you you went to AEW Live. I went to AEW Live. It was basically watching a episode of WCW Saturday Night, WWF Shotgun. Like, it was all guys beating jobbers for the most part. And then we got like a decent main event on Rampage. But other than that, it was pretty pathetic. So, all right. That is this week's AEW rant. We don't really need to go on from it anymore. All right. Now we're going to review Hard to Kill. Hard to Kill was not this past Sunday, but the previous Sunday before. Goldberg, did you see any of Hard to Kill?
I did. I saw, I would say the majority of it.
Okay. Overall, it got good reviews from a lot of people. Me personally, before we go through all the matches, I liked most of the results. I thought it was a pretty solid pay-per-view. We got a pretty cool surprise, and one that actually has been better than any AEW storyline I've seen in the past year. And we'll get to it, but all right. So first match, we had the inaugural Knockouts Ultimate X match. The winner became the number one contender. It was Chelsea Green versus Jordan Grace versus Lady Frost versus Rosemary versus Alicia Edwards versus Tasha Steelz. Tasha Steelz ends up winning this. Goldberg, did you check this match out?
No, I missed this match.
Okay.
Did not watch this match.
Okay. I knew from the start, like, they're not going to, and I don't want to offend anyone here, so don't take offense to it, but I knew from the start that, the knockouts in Ultimate X is probably not going to be as good as the men's. We've seen, pretty much some crazy stuff in the men's. However, there were some cool spots. I think Lady Frost did a lot of cool stuff. But Tasha Steelz ends up winning this. This one kind of surprised me. But then when you found out who won the Mickie James, Deonna Purrazzo, it's like, oh, okay. I guess that kind of makes sense. But overall, not a bad match. Surprise winner. Nothing too more there. Goldberg, you want to chime in on anything?
I'm happy with the winner because it's something I wasn't expecting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we all picked Chelsea Green when we did our preview. So
yeah,
I like it when you get a curveball.
Sure.
All right, next match was for the X Division title. It was Trey Miguel defending against Steve Maclin. If Steve Maclin lost, he could no longer challenge for the X Division title. Little background: these two have been having triple threat matches where Trey Miguel's pinned the other guy besides Maclin. So Maclin finally got him in a one-on-one. Trey Miguel ends up winning this. I think we mostly picked Maclin for this, but Trey Miguel ends up winning. I'm kind of torn. I wanted Maclin to win, but he doesn't really belong in the X Division, even though he did pull out some X Division stuff. Goldberg, what's your take?
Another one I was a little surprised because when you put the stipulation, I'm sure Calbert can attest to WWE's. Anytime they put a stipulation, you're almost guaranteed to say that the guy who says, "Oh, he can never wrestle for the title again," is probably going to win the match, right?
Yep.
So I was pretty surprised that the guy who said I can't challenge for the title lost the match. So pretty surprised there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really good match. Surprised on the winner. I still like Maclin, but I think it's good in a way that he's not in the X Division. He's not really an X Division guy. So, but once again, though, I would have liked him to win, if that makes any sense. But I wouldn't have wanted him to win the title because I don't know if he would have done good in the X Division. So it's kind of weird. But okay, so this one was weird to me. This is kind of Impact's just, being friends with everybody. This was for the Ring of Honor World Championship. This was kind of like announced like a couple weeks before. It was Chris Sabin versus Jonathan Gresham. This is my first time really ever seeing Jonathan Gresham wrestle. He kind of looked, he's very into technical wrestling. Like, it was a really good match, but once again, this had no heat, no storyline. So I was just kind of like, eh. And another thing that really kind of irked me about this was the Ring of Honor Pure Rules. I thought were really stupid. You only get like 3 rope breaks during the whole match, so it's kind of like hard to keep track of. But the ending, the cool finish that they had at the end was good. So the match was good. The rules were stupid. I just didn't really care. It just did you? Oh, that was another rules thing or another news thing we could have brought up about like what Ring of Honor is doing. But I don't know. Goldberg, what was your take on this?
It's a match I'm not interested in because there was no build. So
yeah. And do we really care about Ring of Honor? I don't.
No, I didn't really give a shit about this match because I mean it's just nothing to it. Like why should we care? It's almost like the equivalent of like Calbert, you watch WWE, like let's say TNA or Impact went out of business.
Sure.
And it was done, toast.
Yep.
And they come on WWE and hey, let's see, who can we think of that like nobody would know in WWE? I would say even a worse example than Moose. Who would you say, Hurls? Somebody even not as known as Moose, like
somebody like from the like.
Let's say
are you
Josh
talking like
Alexander.
TNA days or?
No, let's even say Josh Alexander because
okay.
Does anyone in WWE know who Josh Alexander is?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not. No. So let's say this guy was the TNA champ and they went out of business and WWE said, you know what, we'll give this guy, let Josh Alexander defend his title on our show and we'll let him go against who's a good example in WWE, like
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, probably wouldn't even be him, but okay, Seth
Good
Rollins.
Lord.
Oh, you mean like a equivalent to Chris Sabin?
I guess. I mean, somebody like.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, because Gresham fought Chris Sabin. So, like, yeah, somebody equivalent to Chris Sabin, not somebody who's on the top who you think is a main event guy. Like, just somebody who's there.
Cedric Alexander.
Okay.
Shelton Benjamin. Like,
Would
okay.
you have any interest in Josh Alexander coming to WWE? Calbert, would you have any interest in that?
Nope.
No. So that's how I feel about Gresham and his 4'8" self defending a title that I don't give a shit about.
Well, considering that
he's-
you even mentioned Ring of Honor, like that's a cable access channel for me. Like when I'm scrolling through the television, I go, oh yeah, that's right, that's on, and then I just keep on going.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Like I got nothing against Jonathan Gresham. He's got an interesting look to him, but he's kind of technical.
Interesting taste in women too.
Yeah. We won't go there. We already know what we think of his woman, but he's a solid wrestler from what I saw. But there's really no investment, and I just don't really care that Ring of Honor's, handing their title out in these different events to like, hey, here's our Ring of Honor champion. We're really not a company anymore, but we have this title that kind of was something 10 years ago. Here you go.
Kind of sounds like the equivalent of either what was the WCW World Heavyweight Championship or the Television Championship in WCW.
Yeah, television.
We have to use it. We have this. We have to use it. Prior to use it, we have X amount of days to use it, to continue to use it before we have to make a new belt.
Right. Or just absorb it with a different belt or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of my feelings on it. All right. Now, this match was a really good match. We had Jonah, the former Bronson Reed from NXT, facing Josh Alexander. And you said Josh Alexander, who I'm really high on. This guy's very solid. Josh Alexander defeated Jonah. A lot of people thought this might have been the match of the night. Goldberg, your take?
Yeah, no, this was a good match. It's just not a match I really care about the outcome of, but it was a solid match. Definitely